Tonight, the South Australian government forced to deny it's axing victim support services, and Broken Hill's council meetings to continue behind closed doors.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Labor is calling for answers, claiming the Victim Support Service is closing its Whyalla and Port Augusta offices. The South Australian government rejecting the accusations, saying it's a temporary measure.
An essential service to many locals in Whyalla, now closing its doors to in-person appointments.
I think it's an appalling decision to cut that service back and just say, no, it's only going to be available in Adelaide is just a massive backward step when it comes to supporting victims of crime.
He says the service is crucial for regional victims seeking support and justice.
Incredibly valuable service, and we might well find that people are not willing to pursue justice and get the right thing done if they don't have that close contact.
The state government, however, rejecting the claims, blaming coronavirus restrictions and staff changes for the temporary closure.
We're absolutely committed to providing support to victims of crime. The counselling service is very important.
A new contract for the support service is out for tender, with the government providing $2 million in support. But it does not specify that rural cities must have face-to-face clinics available.
Some counselling services are provided by phone, some are done by a local person, some are done by people who are in an outreach program.
The Victim Support Service, in a statement, says it's been supporting victims of crime for more than 40 years, and the decision to close its offices has been driven by changes to service and funding that will take effect on the 1st of July. Sophia Contigonis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Regional Mental Health Care and Suicide Prevention has received a multi-million-dollar cash injection from the federal government. The funding set to provide extra outreach programs and boost telehealth services.
It's been labelled as one of the highest priorities for the federal government, supporting the mental health of residents during the COVID-19 storm.
There's obviously struggles all around, and Eyre Peninsula has had its fair share of struggles in the past, not related to the pandemic, so this is just one added extra pressure.
Through fire, floods and now a pandemic, support services say regional mental wellbeing is being put to the test. But another round of federal funding announced on Friday is set to ease the pressure.
We're very aware that there is pressure building, so we're putting an extra $48 million into mental health service.
More than $500 million has been injected into mental health and suicide prevention this year. Support services say the money is a sight for sore eyes.
With a bit of luck, there'll be added services available, that outreach can be better accessed by people who are experiencing mental health or poor mental health.
Better access to telehealth services has also been guaranteed, helping connect regional towns.
People can access things online that they haven't been able to before. Certainly a lot of the help, the kind of advice that you get will be coming more and more online because more and more people are used to the platforms now.
Services say it's important to remain connected, even during social distancing.
Reach out to people for support if you're feeling unwell. It's okay to say that you're not okay.
If you or someone you know needs help, contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Broken Hill councillors will continue to hold their monthly meetings online unless coronavirus instructions change. The city's mayor saying the number of people involved in a meeting exceeds indoor limits of 10.
From the meeting room to the chat room, Broken Hill Council meetings are staying online for the time being.
The legislation is very clear. You have the provision to work at home, to be at home, to meet at home. You must be using that.
Even as coronavirus restrictions on gatherings are lifted across New South Wales, council meetings in the Silver City will continue to be conducted remotely. Councillors confined to their homes with discussions held through live conferencing.
At the moment, we're still keeping the meetings online. That will change as soon as the Minister said everybody back in and we can all participate.
The city's mayor saying it's not as simple as letting the 10 councillors councillors back into the chambers. While there is no public gallery, members of council's executive are also present.
We have more than 10 people. We have staff that are participating, and certainly our council chamber isn't set up for the best process for that Zoom meeting process with 5 people outside the meeting, because we don't have those screens.
One councillor looking to returning to normal sometime soon.
I can understand that council is taking a little bit of time to get back to it, but I think they need to move back to face-to-face meetings as soon as possible.
Patrick Roinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A Butte man has been arrested after police allegedly found numerous cannabis plants during a search on Thursday afternoon. It's alleged the man was in possession of 9 plants and dried cannabis, along with cash, methamphetamine and smoking implements. The 42-year-old man was charged with numerous drug offences and was bailed to appear in court on August 26. Still to come tonight, Port Lincoln's community comes together to give the historic RSL Hall a revamp, and Broken Hill's Footy League yet to decide whether they'll play this year. Welcome back. As strict lockdowns forced the closure of RSL halls across South Australia, one regional branch has used the time to undertake a major upgrade. The Port Lincoln Hall receiving a fresh spin to its heritage building.
From a dining hall to a construction site, Port Lincoln's RSL undergoing a major redevelopment.
Fresh look, new start, ready to get on with life.
The branch deciding the coronavirus lockdown was perfect timing to get out the paint can and plaster and give the iconic building a much needed facelift.
It was a good opportunity to say, listen, if we want to open again in June or whenever we can open, let's get the work done.
Ripping up the old timber walls and bar, the building now just a shell of its former self. Locals rallying behind the development, with workers volunteering their time to the project, the upgrade coming with a $20,000 price tag.
We've got the kitchen upgraded. We've got a chef that's going to do meals 2 nights a week.
Despite the RSL being closed, visitors can still interact with its rich history online through a virtual war memorial.
We put the stories up and people from the community can add what they know about the people as well.
It's hoped when the RSL reopens, the technology will help locals discover Eyre Peninsula's military background.
When you come into our museum, you can look at the virtual war memorial on an app and you'll be able to see your person of interest within the collections.
The upgrade's set to breathe new life into the club.
To keep the place open, we needed to do something, attract more people in here.
The new development is set to be put under the pub test next month when it officially reopens.
It gives an extra place for people to be able to come and to find another venue to share and see the history and to just enjoy the mateship.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Wireless GP clinics are starting to slowly reopen, with face-to-face consults resuming. Strict guidelines have been implemented to reduce the coronavirus risk. Only the patient and one support person will be allowed in the building and must wait in the car until called upon. Patients showing any flu-like symptoms will not be allowed to enter. Phone appointments will remain an option. Port Augusta's Wadlata Tourist Centre and Aridlands Botanic Gardens are welcoming back tourists from today. Both attractions reopening for the first time in nearly 2 months.
Regional tourism has been given the green light, which means the lights have been switched on here at the Wadlata Tourist Centre.
It's vital that these sort of centres are available for people to physically stop their journey wherever they might be heading to or from.
A hub for those looking for activities and adventures within our region.
The doors are open, you can always still go out and spend time in the fresh air, and we have a great environment. We have the great Spencer Golf, the Flinders Ranges, so we have plenty to offer, and please come and have a look.
The tourism manager eager to see what lies ahead in the coming months as restrictions further ease.
To see life being breathed back into the operation, so our local city folk coming back into the workplace and the wheels starting to turn again, and albeit slow and albeit a little bit restricted at this stage.
However, he's glad to see the centres can now be utilised in a safe manner.
Stretch your legs, get out of the home that you've been trapped in for so long, and enjoy the spaces we've got.
The outdoor area here at the Aridlands Cafe now open for customers looking for a quick drink.
People like to associate, get the fresh air, enjoy a coffee and a conversation, so we need that to get happening again. The sooner the better.
Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Broken Hill's local footy players could still take to the field this year, but the league says there's still a few hurdles to get past. A shortened season is being floated. However, the need to make revenue remains a sticking point.
The ovals of the Silver City are looking pristine, but will football be played on them? AFL Broken Hill says before that is considered, step one needs to be met.
At this stage, we're still waiting on clarification from AFL New South Wales and the New South Wales Government that clubs can actually return to training under the 10 people per training regime.
While the national competition returns next month, at the grassroots level, leagues remain in the wind. In Broken Hill, there are 3 options for footy in 2020, the first being a 12-round, 2-finals shortened season starting in July.
The other options on the table are no season at all. Do we just wipe it? Or do we look at, hopefully in August, September, do we have like a 6 or 8 week Lightning Cup style format and play for some form of trophy?
While a longer season would give players a better footy fix, Mr Schmidt says it's almost unviable if spectators can't come in and clubs can't trade.
To start a season from scratch, if you've got to go and ensure your 6 or 7 teams, you've got to buy first aid gear, you've got to have footies, you're looking at least a $10,000 outlay before game one.
The Lightning Cup style fixture could leave a few months for COVID-19 restrictions to be lifted, thereby allowing crowds into games.
I don't think we can let this run until July and still not know what's going on. I think we need to have some form of decision in the next 4 weeks.
The league will meet with the local clubs soon to discuss the options. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. A Port Augusta group encouraging locals to start volunteering. And a Wyler op shop reopens to the community. A Port Lincoln angler was given the surprise of her life last night after a whale swam up beside her at the city's wharf. The mammal putting on a show for shocked watchers, hanging around the area before swimming away. The annual migration of the southern right whale sees the animals frequent the area for several weeks as they nurse their young. And a local Port Augusta resident has caught a precious moment on camera, with a pod of dolphins spotted swimming in the shimmering Spencer Gulf. She snapped the video as her family spent the day on a boat last week, getting an up-close and personal view. And it seems the pod were also enjoying the good weather. Great stuff. This week is National Volunteer Week, dedicated to saying thanks to those who give up their time for the benefit of our communities. A Port Augusta organisation is starting a campaign to spread the positive message.
It's a week of recognition and celebration for all that they do.
It's an opportunity for us to acknowledge the good work that our volunteers do and continue to support the communities of South Australia, always being there available, leaving their families on birthdays and Christmases and not always being there.
This year, having a special focus for the CFS, with 800 Region 4 volunteers helping battle the summer's deadly fires that swept the nation.
They're remarkable people, they never cease to amaze me with some of the commitment and the way they support each other.
And there's a way we can show our support to all the volunteers in our region as part of the Colour Your Community Red campaign. Businesses, sporting clubs and schools invited to show off the colour red in any way they can.
Anyone can take part. You can wear red, you can put red on your letterbox, you can put red on your office, or just a bit of red lippy even, just to say thank you to the volunteers.
A way to ensure their efforts don't go unnoticed.
CFS, Lions, Rotary, Apex, to name a few. We're so fortunate to have these people that want to spend time helping other people. So I'd just like to put a shout out to you all. Thank you very much, and it's very much appreciated.
Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A Wyler op shop and cafe has today reopened its doors, with customers returning for a browse. The community hub was forced to close for more than 8 weeks due to COVID-19 restrictions.
chopping up fresh vegetables for today's menu. Adra Cafe getting ready for its usual customers to come through the doors.
Busy in the kitchen, trying to get things organised, ready for people to come in.
People are lonely out there and they are appreciative of having somewhere open that they can go and shop and hang out for a few minutes.
A community hub for many, it's been tough for both volunteers and locals who've had to go without.
We get a lot of people that live on their own, and this is the only time that they can sort of get out and have a bit of a browse around and even just come in and sit and have a coffee and have something to eat.
It's hard. It's interesting that a number of people have said now we've got something to do. And so they've come out and we've had a good response this morning.
The adjacent op shop also proving to be quite popular. Its car park full of customers eager to get out of the house and support this community store.
It's very good. We've got people waiting outside to go in.
Both sites adhering to strict COVID-19 measures, only allowing a certain amount of people inside at one time.
There's seating, but it's only two per table. Come and have a cuppa, buy something to take home for tea and do some shopping while you're here. Plenty of bargains.
Opening hours are 9:30 to 2, Tuesdays to Thursdays. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. We check the day's finance news and we'll have the weather details with Britt. Hello again. Time for a quick look at today's financial markets. Adelaide, Brighton and cement, one of the day's big movers, up by over 7%. Mining giant BHP also having a strong day, up by 6%. Oz Minerals and Bendigo Bank also enjoying a green day. However, it wasn't all good news, with Iron Road and Regional Express both down. And the ASX 200 rose by 1.8%, while the All Ordinaries was up nearly 2%. And time to take a look at what's happening in the weather across the region. Here's Britt with the details.
Thanks, John, and good evening. 26 was the high at Port Augusta today, with Whyalla reaching 25. Maximum temperatures were a couple of degrees above average. Broken Hill and Port Pirie both reached 24 degrees, Woodna, Kadina and Cleve 21, Clare 20, Port Lincoln 19, and over in the capital 22 degrees. Taking a look at today's satellite, we can see mostly clear skies due to a broadening high pressure ridge. Some wispy jet stream cloud to our north, not bringing any rain. Moving on to tomorrow's forecast now, and there is a strong wind warning in place for the Spencer Gulf with north to northwesterly winds at 15 to 20 knots ahead of a southwesterly change in the afternoon. Seas at 1 to 1.5 metres, increasing to 2.5 metres later in the day. And with colder conditions on the way, we do have a warning to sheep graziers for southern parts of the York Peninsula and elevated areas of the mid-north tomorrow. Showers and becoming windy at Port Lincoln, looking at a top of 18 degrees. Cleve showers and 17, Woodna showers and 18 degrees. Partly cloudy with showers developing at Whyalla 18. Port Augusta also a top of 18 degrees, fine through the day with showers later on. Kadina showers developing and 17. Showers increasing at Port Pirie tomorrow, a top of 17 degrees. Clare showers and 13. Sunny at Broken Hill, a top of 16. Taking a quick look ahead to Thursday now with fine and partly cloudy conditions forecast across much of the region. A little more cloud cover about the lower air peninsula with sunny skies over Broken Hill. 16 the top for Port Augusta, Woodna, Whyalla, Port Lincoln, Port Pirie and Kadina. Friday showers about the lower air and York peninsulas, but looking mostly fine elsewhere. Maximum temperatures sitting in the mid-teens. And finally to Saturday, it's looking like we'll kick off the weekend with showers about the Eyre and York peninsulas as well as the mid-north. Cloudy conditions over Broken Hill, but fine about the Flinders and West Coast districts. So John, that's the weather. More showers on the way. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Britt. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening. On behalf of the entire team, it's good night.